see, you cannot overtalk me, because I'm a high value man. Ma'am, excuse me? Tom Ford. Alright amigos, so in this video, I'm going to talk about the big phenomenon, all forms of social media, specifically YouTube, and that is the Godfather, Kevin effing Samuels. Yes man, Kevin Samuels, man, he is probably the biggest rise of popularity that I have seen in anyone on, you know, not even just YouTube, but just social media. You know, I believe like with how he's soaring, he can now go into mainstream, you know, because I'll give you like a backstory. Like I started watching Kevin Samuels probably a bit late, since I'm coming to Mexico now. Like there's been times like you know, I'll be waiting to upload you know, videos to YouTube, or I'm just waiting to publish a video, you know, and it's like I stumbled across like Mr. Kevin Samuels videos, and it was crazy because you know, I was watching his videos and I found it very difficult to like click away from it, you know, like from his videos. You know, when he started doing the conversations with the women, you know, saying like, you know, like they were kind of like their excuses, like why they're not you know, married, you know, what are they looking for, you know, what is their ideal partner, you know, and Kevin Samuels was like kind of like no nonsense, no BS kind of like response to them. It really attracted and engaged me, you know, and I think it's you know, it's shown with his numbers, you know, how he's grown from, you know, this like image consultant to this like a relationship kind of guru. Like one of the reasons for Kevin Samuels, you know, rise is that I think people are catching on to what he's saying, that as harsh and as like you know, his tone that he's using, even the delivery, the way sometimes he kind of, you know, sly kind of, you know, hurts their feelings. You know, I do believe Kevin Samuels majority, like 98% of the time, he's telling the truth. You know, a couple years ago, before he did a video about like you know, like an old man at like you know, like 30 years, or even like just like, you know, late 20s should be at home with their parents. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just the straight up, you know, truth. Which I've got guys in the United Kingdom now who are comfortable, motherfucking comfortable, staying at home with the parents. You know, they're not learning any skills. They're not growing as a man, they're not becoming independent, they're just with the, you know what I mean, it's just the same status quo, you know. And when he said it, it was like, I was like, man, if I had showed this to some of my like, you know, amigos back in, you know, UK, or even some guys like I met like in, you know, Canada, you know, it's like, some people need to hear it, because, you know, the truth hurts. You know, and I feel like with Kevin Samuels, the way how he delivers it, it's like, you know, I don't care what you think of me. This is the truth. You need to hear this, and it's not too late to level up. You know what I mean? Because some people, I believe, as when he speaks to the many of women who call into his show, when they tell them like something that's meant to benefit them, they take it as an insult, and sometimes they kind of go the wrong way. Be like, oh, who does he think he is? How can he talk to me? You know, when this neck starts to move, like for sisters, you know you're in the doghouse, you know. So some of them take it like very like personally when he's telling them stuff that they need to hear. Like man, a lot of like you know, so I've been watching like one of the ones he interviewed, this like rotund woman who's basically overweight, and what he did was he didn't beat around the bush. He said, this is the reason why you don't have a man. Get a membership, get a personal trainer, burn some calories. Just straight to the point, no nonsense, you know. And I really love the brilliance of the way he you know, the way how he interacts with these women. Because you have to remember, as I said, these women call into his show, you know what I mean? It's not like he's saying like, oh yeah, you know, if you got time on Friday evening, call KS, you know, call me and we can talk about your relationship problems. You know, he's not doing that. They're calling into his show. So when they argue with him, it's like, you called into this show, but it's like they kind of do like engage in words with him. they do know at the end he's telling the truth. They just don't want to show it. You know what I mean? I've dealt with like many women, and like even like black women specifically, who have this kind of they don't really want to express what they're truly feeling inside, you know what I mean? So they'll hide it. It's like a kind of pride thing, you know? So you can see like a lot, because the majority of sisters who do come on this show, they do that, you know what I mean? They want to say like, you know, who are you? You know what I mean? But you are that size, like he says. You are like you ain't a size 6. The sisters, like, you know, black women, you know, because that's like the ones he's probably got the most like traction, you know, from. Like a lot of them, like, I can't stand him, you know, him and Samuels. But I go to what I said again, you know, he does have a point, you know. I can't name, like, you know, on my hand, if I had like a couple more hands, like how many brothers or black guys have had to deal with, like, you know, the wrath of like sometimes the black woman's tongue, you know what I mean? And if you watch closely the way Kevin Samuels is, he displays like a very assertive personality, you know. You need this when you're, I'm not talking about all the black women, but there's some sisters who love that, you know, gangsters, you know, who want the thugs, you know, them ones, and then like they get to like 30 or 40 and they find out, you know, they haven't been able to make anything, or family and that. Them lot, they do need someone who can kind of put their foot down, you know. And when you see Kevin Samuels, though, it is so, I mean, interesting. When you watch his like the calling shows, he's always in control. He never loses his temper. He never starts cussing them. He just tells them the 100% facts, you know. It's they're the ones who want to start going like, oh, who are you, you know, composed the whole time, you know. That's like, it's like a leadership quality, the way you see him, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, and I was a victim of this, you know what I mean, especially in like you know, secondary / high school and college, you know, like there was a lot of times, the majority like a black woman, I used to let them like walk over me like as a, you know, doormat that said welcome, you know, because necessarily like you're being rude or you're being like, you know, you're insulting them anyway, but you're just telling them like, look, I am a man, we did build this fucking wall, you know what I mean? There's some of the stuff, have you gone 4 o'clock in the morning to go work like a job for like, you know, 2 hours, then probably go to another job? You know, they got the strength because like they have the feminists now, you know, there's more support for like, you know, this independent woman, Women's International Day, you know, whatever. Kevin Samuels is just telling the facts, you know. Without like a man, there's a lot of things, the world would not run, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things women need from, as much as we need women, women need men way more, you know what I mean? And I just feel like with Kevin, thank God for Kevin Samuels, because I feel a lot of guys are afraid to say this in this era because they're worried about, oh, if I get cancelled, you know, once you, like I said, once you get like one, you know, strike, you know, that's done, you know. He's just telling the truth. And I believe, again, what I said, these women who call into the show, they argue with him, but deep down inside, they know it's the truth, you know. He's coming from an honest place, no matter how harsh his delivery is. I wanted to say, like, man, thank God, like, someone like him has come around, you know. I think, like, a lot of men now can kind of take notes the way they need to handle women, because, as I said, you know, there is them extreme cases, you know, the way some guys, like, you know, they can be abusive, they can be a bit too misogynistic, you know what I mean? But there's guys just like me, we ain't trying to do nothing to harm these girls, you know, we're just about our business. Like me, we are on our purpose, you know what I mean? So we want a woman, like, you know, high value, we want a woman at our level, so we can reach the heights, we can get the best out of life, just like Kevin Samuels is doing. So, you know, there's no point like being around the bush, because as he said, Kevin Samuels said, there's women who have no problem telling, like, and I've even heard this before, like, you suck, you ain't the man you think you are, you know, all that. And when he just turns around and flips it, it's all like, oh, Kevin Samuels is all big like components that attracted me to Kevin Samuels was his evolution. You know, this is not someone who just became like an overnight success, you know. Kevin Samuels has been around for a long while, you know what I mean? He's in his early 50s, you know, he's been in like, you know, the corporate world, he's worked as an image consultant, you know, and he was, you know, he had these like, you know, gigs, you know, he worked as a waiter, and you know, and like when he came on YouTube, if you see like his earlier videos to now, you can see that a lot of work, and it's very important for YouTubers, and it's like, I wish someone had told me when I first came on, you know, I believe when you've got quality work, and you know, sometimes like I said, it takes like a couple, not even a couple, it takes like a lot of videos to even get to that point of when you're kind of comfortable, you know, your content is good, and people will be able to see that soon. You know, some people kind of exchange that for just that quick you know, fame, you know what I mean? That's why when you see my channel, you know, I'm on 8K subscribers, but I'm not gonna sell out to do like, you know, prank videos or that kind of like shock value, you know what I mean? It's not needed. So it's like really important when you see Kevin Samuels, he's just being himself, and over time he's got to the top. You know, he's on about 700K, you know, that I remember he was on at, I think even just last year, earlier 2020 last year, he probably had 70,000. So to make that rise from that to there, and he's just been himself, you know, and over time, you know, for work, you know, my man says he works like 60+ hours a week. You know, he's naturally gotten better, you know, and that's, like I said, it's a key component, you know, stick to what you got, the cream rises to the top, but make sure you are working, you are learning, and you are aiming to get onto the top, just like the Godfather Kevin Samuels. Yes, ladies, and gotta smooth it out, gentlemen, you know, that's my like, you know, that's my like, you know, rundown on Kevin Samuels. I called it the Kevin Samuels effect. You know, I think this guy, he's become like a pioneer. You know what I mean? I believe like a lot of men, you can see how the way Rich is dressed today. I think a lot of men are gonna kind of change the way they kind of carry themselves and how they kind of you know, approaching and gaining contact with women, you know, because, you know, I ain't ashamed to say, you know, I've been cheated on, you know what I mean, I've gotten flaked many times, many times, you know, and it's women that you kind of seem as high value, you know, this is a woman you think that it's the natural pairing between you two, like equal level, and it hasn't got there. You haven't been able to like catch that flower, you know, and it's like from watching his videos, Kevin Samuels, you know, I've been able to see kind of like the error or the missteps in like my previous kind of like, you know, trying to go for like some certain types of women, and he's absolutely, he doesn't even have to say it, you know, some guys have to know that this is a social media age, everything benefits the woman more so than the men. You know, so if you are not looking to get the best, you know, be the best. If you are like the best swimmer, if you're like a swimmer, be the best swimmer. If you're like a runner, be the best runner. You know, if you're the best like soccer player, be the best. And what he ultimately, Kevin Samuels, what he's trying to, you know, explain, especially to the women, and you know, the men have to get this. It's like, when you're on this planet, man, you got one motherfucking chance. If you are not out there to make the best of it, and you want to sit and complain of guys who are above, you know, like Kevin Samuels, he's above me, and he's above like a lot of YouTubers, you know what I mean? This guy doesn't even just have to rely on YouTube. I guarantee he's getting mainstream, you know, people like networks like, you know, wanting to like get him on, you know what I mean? So he's good. So you can't waste time, because the time on this planet is short. Tomorrow is never promised. You don't know what's gonna happen. To waste time criticizing people above you when you should be learning to see what he did, how can you find a way to make it to the top, is completely fruitless, you know? So like, and he talked about this, you know, like about like as much as you get higher, you know, that's when the negativity, that's when the critics are gonna come, that's when the horrendous comments are gonna come, you know what I mean? And I think it just comes with the territory. But you know, I think a lot of it just sees in you know, jealousy, especially in my culture. I know how people are like, you know, back in Sierra Leone and Africa, they really hate when someone who kind of looks like them supersedes them, you know, and gets to the top, you know, they would rather bring them down so they can be, you know, all on the same level. You understand? So I just think like, you know, I don't think I know. I think Kevin Samuels is, he's like a commodity, you know. I mean, I've never seen anything like him before, you know, especially in the black community, and he needs to be here, you know what I mean? Like, he's saying stuff that I should have been saying to a lot of like black women I was dealing in the past, you know, not even just like in relationship, you know, some of them ones I would meet in those Sierra Leone gatherings, you know what I mean, when you would go to like these black parties, you know, some of these women, they think they really do believe they're like the hottest thing, they're like, any man should like worship me and bow down to me. But when Kevin Samuels bring these points, like, how tall are you? How much do you weigh? You know, how old are you? Just these simple questions. And you see when Kevin Samuels does that, he's slowly getting to know the character of the, you know, the person he's talking to, you know. So once he kind of breaks this down, you start to see that some of these women ain't as bold and tough as they think they are, and they're really insecure. You know what I mean? So, and it's just because of Kevin Samuels, he's uber confident, so composed, so chill, cool. You know, he gets them, you know what I mean? So as I just said, I believe like he's really changed the game. You know what I mean? I believe like a lot of guys, as me now, you know, because I've been someone like, you know, since like, you know, like, what was it, like, you know, 4 years ago, you know, each year has just been a step in the right direction, you know, leveling up, you know what I mean? In my view, I know I'm making moves, and I know I still got to make more moves. And when you see a guy like this, who's similar, like, you know, the evolution, you know, he was at this point, slowly got higher, you know, it's an inspiration, you know. So, you know, mad kudos to Kevin Samuels, you know. So, guys, and go. Drop your comments in the you know, comment section, you know, about like what you think of, like, you know, Kevin Samuels, you know, the way how he's, you know, the rise of him, you know, and even like you can even mention like what do you think is the future for him, you know, because I can see like nothing but success, you know. I believe like with him, he's kind of broken out the constraints of YouTube, in my opinion, you know. Like I was watching these two podcasts back to back yesterday with Joe Budden and Adam 22. You know, I mean, this guy probably could appear on Vlad TV, and I'm pretty sure Vlad even knows Kevin Samuels, you know what I mean? So I think he's kind of broken the glass ceiling where a lot of like content creators kind of want to break through, because it can be very difficult for some YouTubers to like get out, you know, of like this job, because again, majority of the time, a lot of people, they copy the formulas of someone who kind of like blew up, you understand? And this is why I've said that even earlier, it's very important, you know, try be yourself, you know. It can be an extension of your personality, but if you stick to yourself, there's no kind of forcism, and you know you can carry that on, you know. So I think it's very important. And honestly, I want to know like the next time Kevin Samuels is in, you know, Atlanta, I think I'll pass there. He's got like, you know, show me like most of these like you know, where he shows and that, you know. I would definitely love to get that, because yeah, high value is in right now, baby. So stay tuned for more upcoming videos, which, trust me, which will be coming very soon. And always remember that she came to